When future generations look back on the global warming scare of the past 30 years, nothing will shock them more than the extent to which the official temperature records, on which the entire panic ultimately rested, were systematically adjusted to show the Earth as having warmed much more than the actual data justified. 2 weeks ago, under the headline "How We Are Being Tricked by Flawed Data on Global Warming," I wrote about Paul Homewood, who, on his blog, had checked the published temperature graphs for 3 weather stations in Paraguay against the temperatures that had originally been recorded. In each instance, the actual trend of 60 years of data had been dramatically reversed, so that a cooling trend was changed to one that showed a marked warming. This was only the latest of many examples of a practice long recognized by expert observers around the world, one that raises an ever larger question mark over the entire official surface temperature record. Following my last article, Homewood checked a swathe of other South American weather stations around the original 3. In each case he found the same suspicious one-way adjustments. First, these were made by the U.S. government's Global Historical Climate Network, GHCN. They were then amplified by 2 of the main official surface records, the Goddard Institute for Space Studies, GIS, and the National Climate Data Center, NCDC, which use the warming trends to estimate temperatures across the vast regions of the Earth where no measurements are taken. Yet these are the very records on which scientists and politicians rely for their belief in global warming. Homewood has now turned his attention to the weather stations across much of the Arctic. His interest in the Arctic is partly because the vanishing of its polar ice, and the polar bears, has become such a poster child for those trying to persuade us that we are threatened by runaway warming. But he chose that particular stretch of the Arctic because it is where ice is affected by warmer water brought in by cyclical shifts in a major Atlantic current. This last peaked at just the time 75 years ago when Arctic ice retreated even further than it has done recently. The ice melt is not caused by rising global temperatures at all. Of much more serious significance, however, is the way this wholesale manipulation of the official temperature record has become the real elephant in the room of the greatest and most costly scare the world has known. This really does begin to look like one of the greatest scientific scandals of all time.